A very good morning to you and welcome to the Morning Outlook Report. I'm Rachel Jones reporting live from Kalkine TV Sydney studios. Now, Australian shares are poised to open lower this morning. That's after Wall Street was boosted by tech stocks. The Australian share market eased back on its gains in yesterday's afternoon session, but did stay in positive territory thanks to major banks and the materials sector. At the closing bell, the S&P ASX 200 was 0.3% or 19 points higher at 7,381. Across the sectors, 4 out of 11 closed in the green. Materials was the best performer, up 1%, then financials up 0.5%. Tech was the biggest drag, down 1.2%, followed by healthcare and real estate, both down 1.1%. The best performing stock yesterday was Nickel Mines. Their shares closed 5.1% higher. And the worst performing stock was Kogan.com, closing 4.6% lower. Over in New York, the Dow Jones Index fell 0.2%. The benchmark S&P 500 gained 0.3%, while the Nasdaq rose 0.7%. And still in the US, Johnson & Johnson, United Airlines and Tesla are all due to report this week. Now, Shell has awarded Worley a significant low-carbon fuel services contract in the Netherlands. Shell Netherlands Raffindage has awarded Worley a services contract to support the development of a low-carbon fuels facility at the Shell Energy and Chemicals Park in Rotterdam, formerly known as the Pernis Refinery. Now, the facility will be able to produce approximately 820,000 tonnes of low-carbon fuels every year, and once built is expected to be among the biggest in Europe to produce sustainable aviation fuel and renewable diesel from waste. The renewable diesel alone could avoid 2.8 million tonnes of CO2 emissions a year. This is the equivalent of taking more than 1 million European cars off the roads. Now, moving on, Perpetual Resources is pleased to announce that it has signed a binding lease option agreement with the Yamtiji Southern Regional Corporation, providing access to water requirements of the Beharra high-grade silica sand project for an initial 10-year period. This is a groundbreaking agreement which has been possible due to the close working relationship between the YSRC and Perpetual. This agreement represents the first water lease signed from the strategic Aboriginal water reserve. And Rio Tinto executives has seen some changes. Peter Toth, as Group Executive of Strategy and Development, has accepted a new position outside of Rio Tinto. Peter has stepped down from the group's executive committee with immediate effect, and his responsibilities will be divided between current executives. He'll remain in an advisory role until the end of the year and leave the company on the 5th of April 2022. On that note, let us take a short break here, but stay tuned to Kalkine TV. I'll be back soon.
Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
Where the property market is headed next.
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly.
Apart from tracking the daily market charter.
Be on top of the latest news and announcements
With Kalkine TV.
Welcome back. I'm Rachel Jones and you're watching the Morning Outlook Report live on Kalkine TV. Now, moving overseas, economic data from China weighed on investor sentiment over in the US after it reported low GDP and industrial production for September that fell short of expectations. And industrial production in the US also fell for September as supply constraints continued to hinder manufacturing. That's according to the Federal Reserve. The benchmark 10-year Treasury yields were up 2 basis points to 1.59%, while the 2-year yield is at a 19-month high, up 0.42%, as investors price in an inflation rise. Now to cryptos, where Bitcoin is holding steady above 60,000 US dollars at 61,500 US dollars. That's inching closer to its all-time high in April of $64,869. And European markets, the Pan-European Stock 600 index eased 0.5%, along with Germany's DAX down 0.7%. Britain's FTSE fell 0.4%. And iron ore lost 0.7% to $14.32 a tonne. Spot gold was down 0.1% to $1,766. And on the oil markets, Brent crude was down 0.7% at $84.25 a barrel, while West Texas crude was up 0.2% to $88.24 a barrel. With currencies, the Australian dollar was 0.1% lower at 74 cents, 0.14 US cents. Well, that's all for our Morning Outlook report now here on Kalkine TV. Have a great day trading and stay tuned for more market updates and economic news live throughout the day. This is Rachel signing off for now.